Today we are going to take it in suit jacket shoulder point to point. This measurement is about 16. We need it to 14.5 inches wide. So we will need to take it off about 1.5 inches, but we will do 3/4 each side. So we will use a razorable marker or chalk, whatever you have, and draw a line like this. Now it's time to take off the seam. All the way to, I usually go to at halfway. Don't go too deep, it will be so hard to attach back. We normally have 3 or 4 layers on the shoulder, so we will not take it in from the sleeve. We only going to take from the body. Make sure follow back the sleeve seam. We are not going to sew on the padding or the lining yet, only on the top. Now we will follow the mark and pin all the way around. Before we continue, we will need wider open, so we will open from the back seam. If you have one, you will have to open from the back seam. Now we can see the inside, pull it up the shoulder and sleeve. Now continue to pin together all the way around. Do not pin with the shoulder padding yet. Here a slit from the sleeve. It's for marking for the shoulder seam. That means it's the center of the sleeve. If we pin them together, that it's easier to sew it back on. Now we're going to be sewing together. Remember, we are not sewing with the lining yet, only the body and the sleeve together. Before I continue, I want to look at it from the top. Make sure everything look good. Check it around. If it's good, then we will be continue cut it off the extra material from the inside, not from the sleeve, from the body. Now it's time to put it back on the shoulder pad. We will need a needle and thread. I usually use with hand sew, We can sew with machine too, but the better result, I use needle and thread and hand sew it. Sorry for my voice. I hope you understand it. And also, don't leave yet. I have another jacket to show after this. Some of them the pressing, the hand sew are not included here, so I will show you with the other jacket. Now we will be cutting off all the extra from the padding. Press nicely. I will show you the press from the other jacket. Now it's time to sew back the lining. The reason why I want to show the other jacket, it's because different jacket, also different sewing. This one we have to open with the lining, but the other one we don't have to open the lining. Now we sew back the lining together, the shoulder seam. But the other one we don't have to open the lining at all. Only the back seam and attach back on. When we're done sewing together, we will be attach the shoulder seam and the lining seam together. When we done that, we will be closing all the back, and if you have to hand sew it, that's all we have to do. Let me show on the other jacket. You might be more understanding. This one, same thing, we will need to take it in about 3/4 on each side. We will mark it with chalk, drawing, same thing. Now take off all the seam about halfway. You can go all the way around too. The reason why I did not go all the way around is because the bust area is good. Only the shoulder is too big. This padding is different than the other one and also much easier to take it in. We separate with the padding a little bit to sew it back on. We will be open the back seam again. Now we pull out the shoulder and the sleeve. We will follow the chalk mark and pin it back together with the sleeve. Remember, do not take it in from the sleeve, from the body, from the shoulder. Follow the line, follow the chalk mark and pin it together all the way around. And also remember, we are not going to sew together with the padding yet. Make sure remove your pin. Now it's time to trim off the extra material again. Remember, do not cut from the sleeve, only the body side. On this one, put it back on the shoulder pad. We will go ahead and trim it off about 3/4. And same thing, I will use needle and thread and hand sew it. Better result. I tried with machine before, but I think hand sew is better result. We knot the edge and hand sew together. Make sure the seam all open. You don't have to sew really tight. Also, you don't have to sew too close, just to attach together. That's all we want. Take a look at it from the outside. Make sure everything looks good. Now it's time to press. I use this board. If you want to know what kind of board I use, comment. You can ask me whatever question you have. Press nicely all the way around. Look at it. We got it. Everything look good. Now we will be attached back on the lining and the shoulder. Remember I told you on earlier, we don't have to open this shoulder seam on the lining. Now we just go ahead and attach that shoulder seam to the body padding shoulder seam. I will use needle and thread again. Better result. I love it better that way. Sew it together just a little bit. Look it. All right, look good. Now it's time to close back the back open. I will show you how to close it back. We will open this seam from the sleeve, because remember the shoulder seam are not connected, so we can go from the sleeve. Open this seam and go from here and pull it up the back seam right there. Pull it out and sew it together. Sew it back together nicely. When we're done sewing the back seam together, we will pull it out from the sleeve and we will close the sleeve lining, top stitch close down together. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye.